Welcome back to this another live session, traders. Hope that you had an enjoyable trading day and starting another trading week here in the academy. And I hope that you guys are ready for big trading week. And this is the second day of the trading week of the first week of 2026, and also the NFP week, and looking for some entry opportunity here in this market. Welcome. What is the trend on gold? Yep, that's what we are looking at. We'll be looking at from multiple time frame analysis, and also we will be looking at the fundamental perspective. Now, before I progress with this analysis, we are looking at gold, as well as also we'll be looking at euro dollar, dollar yen, and also DXY to see that how the market is performing at the moment. And in addition, also we'll be looking at the fundamental, what is happening in the market, so that you know that. Good day, welcome to Fadi. Thanks for joining here, and we are looking at some exciting, I would say, that news that we have seen recently. There is a high impact news by RBA statement, so statement by the Monetary Policy Board, where there is a rate hike, 25 bias points to 3.85% on. So with that rate hike, that has given, so bringing will be a budget. All right. So here is with this current increased rate, we can see that gold has had a peak up back to the upside. Now, we saw that past week at the end of the week, there was, a huge breakdown here if you look at. And that breakdown was significant if you look at, right? And with this breakdown, this is the long-term picture that we can see on gold. Was a huge bull market. Of this level to this support level, it was a massive bullish market structure. Good day, welcome. Hope you are well. You are still in the current trade. Yes, I'm still on the current trade. Yep, I'm still holding on to that. I usually try not to close any running trades until we see any of the market is going to any directional bias. All right, so we'll keep you posted and keep you updated. Now, at the moment, we can see that on to enter a trade here. Now, at the moment, I got quite a few. First thing that we are looking at, we are running a trade, and we will be looking at further entry here in this market. All right, now with this current market structure on gold, before we look at entry, what we are looking at, before we look at an entry, we are looking at, first of all, the analysis, right? Which is the basis of entry. The analysis is key. I hope that I'm heard. Can you guys say, can I say yes if you can hear me? The audio is on. All right. Thank you. Now, yes, sir, audio is clear. Thank you very much for confirming. Good to hear that. Now, ready for a big trading weekend day. And now I'm looking at calendar here. So we'll see job opening, which is, I don't know why it's tentative. It's tomorrow. So today we saw that there was forecast was 3.85, previously 3.6. So the rate being the increased, and now how does that also showing up in the gold market? Now, if you are a really serious trader, want to make a big success in trading, guys, this is invaluable. You need to understand some of the things happening in the market, right? What is happening in the market? First of all, this break, all right, we look at that break is important to look at. Why? Because if you look at that breakdown, right, which is an important level of support that you can see, and that break of support where an unusual move break below on gold after this massive all-time high, what it is bringing on the table, right? This is the first thing. This breakdown here, what it is bringing on the table, that's the first question that we need to ask. Okay. Now, look at the overall market structure. This is the daily. Now, you need to apply a very generalized sense that can tell you something. Imagine that you are on a marketplace, okay? It's a very important question, guys. You're on the marketplace and something is rising, okay? You see that it's going to rise, it's going to rise, it's going to rise, and if you want to buy, and it suddenly it dropped for significantly lower in price. Okay, now what is our psychology tells in that situation? Buy, right? That's the simple thing. Now, this drop on gold is actually potential for new higher high. This is the first thing, because if it didn't drop, it didn't break that low here, then definitely it was not a healthy market. Now it's a healthy market because it lowered its price for the buyers to be able to get a reference. Because if you look at when the market was moving in an all-time high, there wasn't any reference point that you can look at in relation to the previous high, right? Now you have a previous high of 5,600. It is giving you a benchmark. Human brain thinks in terms of relative reference. Okay, so you have a relative reference now. In the past, there wasn't any relative reference. That means you don't know that this 5,600 gold price, is it a high price or a low price? Every human being thinking the same way, that this price at this level to buy is a low price or it's a high price. So are you winning that buying or you should be selling here, right? So this is a question. Now you have a reference. Okay, at this level at 4917, is it a low price or a high price? So you have a reference to that. Just 3 days earlier it was 5,600. So the market is in a level which is very close to, in terms of timing, just matter of 3 days, the market is at this level. So it's a very good level for long-term buyers. Now, as a short-term trader, we can't just start buying. Now looking back to the short-term, if you look at that trading opportunity. Now, therefore, we could see that eventual flow in the market in the direction of the major trend. So we can see market now in this lower time frame. So we found a directional bias, which is essential to look at for a long-term trading opportunity. Now, if you look at here, this is an important support and the market has shown that. Now, as we are progressing with the entry and also trading opportunity, another important aspect of gold is that there is a difference between the gold and the currencies. Keep in mind, guys, this is we are trading against, this is a XAUUSD, so against the dollar, right? So if the dollar is devaluating, also gold is going to appreciate. Sometimes both of them move in the same direction. Now with the gold price, if you look at it, usually less devaluated, right? Because whenever XAUUSD is rising, because a lot of also reserve currency as gold, right? And that's crucial to look at. So therefore, if you look at from this support, the market showing upside means that we could see that bigger flow in the market, as XAUUSD is coming down means that there is a potential for further movement back to the upside. As it triggered at 4890. 4890, so which is pretty good price that you received. We also want to trade. Now at the moment you are looking at here, because the market trend is up, whenever it's coming down, we could see the price to eventually break that high and then to create a new higher high. Okay, so with that being said, here the market is here maintaining this uptrend, and we could see that potentially the price to rise back here to create a new higher high. All right, so now with this inverted head and shoulder, if you look at, that's a significantly large inverted head and shoulder, and you can see the market is maintaining its move back to the upside. So with this structure that you can see here in that area, as the market may fall for a deeper pullback, we can expect it to eventually trend back here to create a new higher high. A drop below 4880, well, this is another question. Like the market, we see that whenever the price is coming below, getting an upside rejection here. So therefore, this is the 1 hour price action, tested the previous session's low and rejected back again to the upside. So the possibility here to bounce is higher, and at the same time, right, as a short-term trader, if you look at the daily market, today's price opened with a gap, and it is also possible for this market to come back deeply for a pullback, all right, because there is already there was a seller here. So the long-term picture that we could see that gold to remain bullish, but for short-term we could see that there is potential for here a pullback here, all right. So this is what we are looking at in this market. Now that being said, now looking at this price action here on the lower time frame, we will be looking at a deeper pullback before we look at that entry here in that market. Loud and clear. Thank you very much for confirmation. We are looking at an entry on gold while we are running one trade, and we will be looking at further entry opportunity in the direction of the trend. And in the meantime, traders, make sure you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done yet, press the notification bell so you are not missing any of the content that I am posting every single day. And also, some music, and then we'll get ready for an entry. I'm waiting for the deeper pullback. Our entry level could be below here to this support level. If you look at the 4 hour, this is the session's low here, and this is the session's open and close. This is the 1 hour price action, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and looking at this lower time frame for the market to eventually cross that high to create a new higher high. Gold has an inverse correlation with DXY, while it maintains corrective correlation. Silver and other residing price action, residing precious metals similar to platinum. Yeah, so basically gold has inverse relationship with DXY, because XAUUSD means that gold, if you look at here in this watermark, you can see the gold spot versus US dollar, right? So basically it's against dollar that we see that buying and selling. Now it's traded against dollar. Now if you look at the silver, they're also the same. So gold and silver follow usually the similar pattern. If you look at silver chart, you can see the same, a little different, but similar kind of market structure that you would see on gold, because they are correlated currency. If you look at it. Now, another yeah, so metals usually you see that they follow each other, and one of the difference between metal and other form of currency, right, or even with the oil or anything, right? Why does metal is very different then? Because firstly, many reserve bank, almost every reserve bank in the world has a gold as their currency, right? It's a what you can say, the diversifying the portfolio, if you look at it like that, because gold, you cannot print gold, right? It's just limited resources, and you cannot also, it will remain hundreds of years without any damage. So that's one of the reasons why metal is adopted by as a alternative currency in the world economy. But at the same time, the limitation with the metal is that you can't use as a purchasing alternative, right? You can't pay by gold to purchase something. That's another limit, just as a reserve currency. And also it has a very, if you look at traditional value in it, right? We use gold as an ornament, and also some other, like some of the, I think, chemical reaction you need gold for. Some form of chemical reaction. Let's see what they are. So it's a, you can say that alternative currency for investment, and also in terms of mining. If you look at gold, also require a very sophisticated procedure, and that's why it's precious metal considered. Now, however, we are short-term trader and we are looking at entry for trading XAUUSD, regardless of what that the process of mining or anything like that. Now at the moment, what we see, guys, here we had a trade here from the current fundamental analysis as well as the technical. We can see that it's showing that there is a potential for bullish bias, but at the same time there is a sideways movement for few moments here in that area. And with this sideways movement, the market now having in this area here, for if you look at, because this is a consolidation, the trend whenever it comes down to the buyer's turn, if you look at, it's getting an upside reaction back to the upside here, right? So that upside reaction that you can see on gold is where we will be looking at possible entry in this market. So if you look at this is the 30 minutes price action where the support level on the 30 minutes, and with that support they're expecting the market to potentially react in the major direction of the trend. And now with this drop down here, it's coming to a fair value gap, and I will be looking to see that it's having another potential rejection back above here. The best way to look for an entry on a, after the market become an overextended in one direction. And this is what we're looking to see, the 4-hour price action here of this support getting a reaction back to the upside here. We see of this support, the market slowly building its momentum back up here, and that is where looking for the market to here. We see that it created a significant imbalance in that area if you look at, and that's a pure imbalance in the market. And with that imbalance here, looking at the market to potentially break back to the upside here. And once the price managed to break that imbalance, we could see the price to go back to create a new higher high. And at the same time, if we look at the daily open, here is the daily support level. The market in the past open here on the daily, which may if in case the market breaks below for a deeper pullback, it might even come back to fill the daily low and then could bounce back to the upside. So both directional bias is possible, but at the moment the trend continuation is what we are looking at for in this market for another entry opportunity here. It's carrying that reaction in that area, and okay, we see that there is initial move in that market here. So the price managed to break this high. Looking at here for this possible upside bias could be that the market to eventually create a new higher high. And this is a 1 hour candle close that you can see. And this 1 hour candle close, this is now showing up to be potentially reactive back to the upside. We had a running trade that in that area, which is at entry. Okay, this is a the market is trending, that you can see it's maintaining its bullish bias here, and where we had a previous one that was running. Gold may not give us an easy entry after this consolidation. So can we try a gold buy now? Okay, so firstly, guys, we do open quite a few positions, but entering in the right, it is the best way. But once we see that confirmation, and this is a consolidation for after this big trending move, if you look at, and with that consolidation that you can see, okay, now with this consolidation, if you look at the market, because there is a consolidation, there is a potential for a breakout. And with this breakout here continuing back to the upside, we'll be waiting for a significant pullback here. If we look at the 15 minutes price action, also we can see the market tested this low and ultimately has broken back to the upside here in that area. triggers really. Sometime you see that focus is very important, especially before you get an entry. Looking at the multiple time frame when you are entering is also another crucial factors to look at when you are trading here. And okay, with this initial bounce that you can see here, an impulse, a correction, impulse, correction, expecting another impulse, right? So that's the usual rhythm of the market. There is an imbalance that you can see the prices left here, and with this imbalance, if we look at why did not buy coach? Okay, gold may not give us. We'll be placing buy. We have plenty of time for entry. You want to see that breaking out of the consolidation, because if you look at the market, you see this is a green move, right? And the market drop again. So, and then there's another green move, the market drop again, green move, drop again, green move, drop again. So now with this current candlestick pattern, it managed to break out, right? After quite a few times. And because we saw that there was a multiple times the market has got rejection of this consolidation, there is a chance for the market again to got a rejection. So now it managed to break out, and because it managed to break out, we will be looking at this market now retest and then return again in the direction of the major trend. So with this initial move that you can see here, they're expecting the market to trend and then to return again back in that direction. This is what we are looking at, this market structure here. Okay. Now recent, the nearest level here that you can see, breaking off this level can give possible entry here. Okay, so here we see that lower time frame breakout structure, and that breakout structure can come back here to retest and then return again back. This is what we're looking at, this market structure potentially to come down for this deeper pullback here. And the current market structure, if you look at, this is the 15 minutes price section, which is closing in 2 minutes time, and this is where, if you look at this market, this candlestick pattern, we can expect it to eventually go ahead and cross 494949 level, right? This is going to be 49. Now closing it as a bull candle can give it as a bias back to the upside here. Okay, now this drop down here is where looking for potential break below and then for an entry back to the upside. I will be preparing for a possible entry on a retest if we see enough rejection of this lower time frame support, as we have seen an impulse correction, expecting another impulse. So if we can enter in the right time, we can expect to catch around 200 pip or above that level if the market does enough pullback. So of course risk management is key. Okay, so you can see some pullback again to the 1 hour support, and this is the recent level of resistance. If you guys look at, this is the 1 hour support, this is the 1 hour resistance. Now from the lower time frame perspective here, the market has created this impulse from this level. Is now on a pullback, on a retest of this order block. We're expecting the market to respect that level and then to react again to the upside here. So for looking at entry, I will be looking at buy, and we will be using the market order for a potential move back to the upside of this level. We're keeping the profit target here, and it's a buy market order using for a potential bounce back to the upside here. Doing the stop loss at 4909.10 and TP target setting at 4949.03. Putting stop loss here at 4909.10 and profit target setting at 4949.03. So if you look at the 1 hour here, the market is almost at the support where so getting some reaction of this level. We have very tight stop loss here. So if the market successfully bounced back to this resistance here, it's gonna be nearly to 150 pip that you want to catch the first move. I think the market in a very strong support that expecting it to bounce back unless there is a significant false breakout here. So there is a, if you look at here, this is a key support level. We can hedge those trades that using our trading tool, but at the moment, let's see that where it is heading. It's got a had a break below, and so it might deepen here in that area. So we'll be looking to see the next entry. We've just started the session here, so let's look at to see that where it's a very sharp drop, and for our our support. FOREX is a good area. For the market is in a, this is what happened when there is a market in a consolidation. So it gone for a little bit of consolidation. If you look at the 1 hour, price has tested this lower part, gone back up. So it's just ranging in that area. When the market ranges, it's still potential for break above, because the structure that you can see here is not a bearish market structure, it's a bull market. So once the price break that low, we still can expect it's a bullish trend. So looking at, you see this is a support level here, and in that support this is an imbalance again. Okay, so you want to see the market penetrate again back below, and then we can look for the entry. If the market penetrate back below, as it already has shown an upside bias, the potential for the market to go back again to the upside and to create a new higher high is high. And for 890 area got rejected. Because it has penetrated back below, you might see little extension here. With this 30 minutes candle close, okay, so if you look at gold, sometimes does this, sometimes drops entirely, breaking from the structure before it revert again back. So if you look at here, it's a one single drop of this resistance to this support, and with this one single drop, because the market has dropped entirely back below here, looking for, yeah, so this is a entire drop here, and that entire drop can take the market again back. Do you think it's gonna come down for a deeper pullback, which is also one possibility? Because you see that 1 2 3 4 sessions the market has shown upside. Now when the market in a range, that's also a problem that you can see here in that market, especially the range market. Yeah, rejected 4890. 4890. So this price action that you can see here, creating smaller long wick dojis. Now those doji can break further below, and we want to see the next potential entry in a way that we are entering from a very key level. So if you look at the 1 hour here, you can see from this high it's getting rejected back below, and there is also the imbalance. So we can think of two ways. So this market even can entirely drop in this direction for a deeper pullback. In that case, the market may cross 4872. Until we see that directional bias, I would like to see actually what kind of market structure is forming. 30 minutes price action, if you look at this 30 minutes price action, is a bearish engulfer, crossing quite a few candles high. And so with the 30 minutes candle close, depending on the market structure, we'll see either pullback again or continue to drop here. Looking for so you want to enter from a key level of, if you want to buy or sell. Now this zone that you can see from the 1 hour, the price, so this is a purely consolidation in that area. And we'll be waiting to see proper interaction here, proper pullback. just pushing that market back up here. From the 1 hour, if we look at, it's an eventual range market at the moment. So when it is in a range, we are looking at the entry on a confirmation, because when you see the market range, it's extended back below here. This may bring that market a possible reaction here in that area. Wish NY open, test and reject London low before flying high. Okay, now at this market structure with the NY open, there could be significant more. I would like to delete all those levels here to see the clean picture. So if you look at here, you can see that it created, okay, what I call the board pattern. So it's a dynamic support that the market is following along. So of this pattern, the market see purely this kind of market structure. And of this structure, the price may break the high. That's the usual reaction in the market. So for an entry, yeah, so you want to see that the market is respecting that support level here of this board pattern. Okay, this is kind of sometimes the market form this kind of pattern with a dynamic support maintaining its series of higher low after this series of lower high, and can, because the in this way the market created imbalance back to the upside here. The current order block here. It must just do that so that we can get a better entry. This is what the market usually creates before it breaks out, because if you look at here, same kind of pattern, first lower low and then lower high and then breakout. So lower low, lower high, and then breakout, which is expected at least to 4950 or in that zone. What we are looking at here, guys, if you look at that, the market to show a clean trending bias. Especially before as there is a new session open coming, and before the session open, we would like to see the market to come down here for a retest and then to return back, or entirely drop down here, penetrating back below, which is also one possibility to happen. But at the moment we can see the market is rejecting of this support level. After the 30 minutes close, the buyers again trying to push that market back above, and here back to back for quite a few 1 minute candle getting off this support. How about the current volatility in the market? If you look at, so Joe's job opening coming tomorrow here, and this is NFP, as you know that. So tomorrow coming also in the morning, NZD news, and followed by also tomorrow will be ADP, non-farm employment change, which is creating today's volatility in the market as well, because before the big data come, the market remains significantly volatile. So here it created an interesting price action that you can see in that area. So here the market structure, if you look at it printed on the 5 minutes doji, that I would say it's a potential for so far here in that area. Okay, what I see here, guys, is there is a potential for an upside bias, that the market is slowly trying to create a bullish confluence here in that market. So there's a double bottom here, the market's trying to break that high, and with this support, as there is a 1 hour candle close coming, we'll be looking to see if we have an entry here at the moment for this short term upside here. So I'm looking at going long here of this level, keeping stop loss well below this level, keeping the profit target above, and this is a fully risk managed trade setup with not more than 1%, or if it is a bigger account, then not more than 0.5% or 0.1%. Absolutely important, that risk management. If you are not managing the risk, then not at all, that I wouldn't recommend this opening this trade here, because there's a stop loss doesn't matter, the matter is the risk percentage. Okay guys, so make sure that you are not risking for more than what you should be. Now if it is a smaller account, then 1%. If it is a bigger account, then 0.25% or 0.1%, 0.5%, depending on your risk appetite. So then you are, regardless of your stop loss pip, you have the right setup, which is very important as a trader. So that you can, you can keep counting on your trade. So risk per trade 1% max or less. Now here the reason for this trade entry is we see there is a double bottom breakout, new trend starting with an order block formation, and we can see there is a one big red rejection to this created double bottom, and there's a possibility for another new higher high. We have traded in the direction of the trend. Now the rest will depend on how the market wants to move, right? We never be able to, I think, okay, thank you. We're still in the trade. No, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing. I like your live session and your cool attitude. Although I only enter trades based on my analysis, but I like to watch you learning things. Okay, thanks for the feedback. I think breaking entry below is a better area to buy than breaking out this. Okay, so here a little bit of slower movement that you can see in the market. So it's because of the consolidation, and you want to take a short-term move here. Okay, if the market reach 4933, that's gonna be good move at the moment with this current consolidation here in that area. All right. So, and also Rorali, thank you for the feedback. Yes, absolutely, guys. This is the main goal here. Ultimate goal of a trader for him to become an independent trader, right? Either profitable or not profitable, independent trader, so that you can make your own trading decision based on your own analysis, based on your own strategy. Everything is your own, right? That's where every trader dream to reach, and I think that's the goal of a trader. Is to become an independent trader. Okay, this is another some kind of break that you can see here. This is a consolidation market just like this, guys. And you can look at the market and you can trade independently. Okay, the only thing as a trader that you need is observation, right? You need some time to observe, because interesting fact is that how you see the market after the candle close and how you see market in the live is very different. Okay, so trading live and trading using a, let's say, a simulation or back testing is very different. And that's why to be an independent trader, the first step is to become a dependent trader. And then you can become an independent trader. It's a step-by-step procedure. Okay, let me know how many of you are a successful dependent trader. Right? Have you learned a strategy? Have you learned the basics? Are you having a system that can work for you? This is a very narrow sideway market. You can see it's not moving properly at the moment. It's as the sessions coming, it's hard. We're looking at gold ahead today. We see some kind of the bullish trend. Trading is inherently hard. Okay. However, that's why imagine that you need to, okay, prepare a sandwich or, chop some kind of vegetable without anything by your hand. Can you do that? You can't, right? If you want to chop vegetable, you need some kind of tool to assist you. Otherwise, it's hard. Only supply and demand strategy makes me profitable. I prefer scalping. Yeah, it depends on, everyone's has a different kind of trading setup. Everyone works for different kind of trade setup. Okay, as we're discussing that, so if you need to chop vegetable by hand, it's hard, right? solving a math problem without calculator is sometimes impossible, not hard, right? Sometimes impossible. Some of the complex, even the simple algebraic, you need a calculator. Otherwise, it's gonna be horrible to do by yourself. Or even if you can do by yourself, it will take a lot of time for you to do some kind of mathematical operation without a calculator. Trading is like that. It's not gonna tell you. Manual trading is very hard. That's why trading is hard. You haven't got the right tools and system. For those who are in the academy, you know that we are trading now using our strategy that is now fully running in autopilot. And I think that every member of you can create your own system. So the goal of learning as a trader is to create your own system. You don't need to have a coding background. You don't have to be a programmer to do that. You don't have to learn programming. You just need to learn to trade. And that's enough for you to automate your system. And let the system run, you run yourself. That's how trading is easy, because that's not gonna affect your emotion as a trader. Is it possible to show us a breakup structure? Hello coach, watching from Zambia. Welcome, thank you. Welcome. Yeah. Now either you are in Zambia or in any country. Becoming a trader means that you have a system and you keep it running and you let it trade for you when you are at sleep or at work. Okay, we see some upside here, and you want to catch this more potentially. If the market goes up, it's trying to struggling to bounce back here. Everything needs a little bit of time to change the paradigm, right? Do you see the traffic in interesting thing? I'll show you something here, guys. Just gonna me show you something. You see that this is the traffic system in 1900. I think it's in 1900. You see how the people are car, vehicle and people are moving all together. Now, if you look at, and when the traffic signal first adopted, it was a big resistance, right? But ultimately, it's been accepted, because that's how any change in what called the paradigm, it takes a little bit of effort, but ultimately it's been accepted over the time. So the sooner you're gonna take the ride of the trend, the faster you're gonna move, guys. This is what it is. So being a trader means that always take the fastest route and then be the better one. That's how you can stay ahead in your journey as a trader. And you can see that how the traffic system worked in 1900. And now, but when the first traffic light been implemented, it was not properly accepted, right? Because people don't want to do that. They want to move in the same way. But now it's opposite, right? Everything is different. So now trading as a trader, let's take the route that faster, right? And that's why we trade in the academy using the system that can trade for us when you're at sleep. All right, now what's happening here? The candle close, but the music stops. Getting back again. The market is really creating a funny structure here. So once we see in the profit going enough to the upside, you will be taking out of this trade here. It's creating a narrow consolidation in the area. It's a funny structure. And the session open, expecting it to bounce back here. Okay, we are on the trade and expecting it to break to the upside here, guys. Ready for taking it to this level here, at least 290 pip or 200 pip. Awesome, that's moving. That's what you want to see, another push back to the upside here. We are up on this. I'm up 147 pip, and at any point I might close this trade, let it go a little further. 136 pip, and I'm taking out this one here. As I mentioned earlier, that when I have a losing trade, I take little earlier profit, and I have taken the profit here. you got here 145 pip. Welcome, and I would like to see a feedback here. It's a cheer up for us, starting with profitable day for this. Yeah, breakup structure. Yes, this is the market has shown us. This is the breakup structure. The last question some of you ask. This is the breakup structure, guys. All right, and with that breakup structure, if you look at, the market has made its move back to the upside. So with this breakup structure that you can see as, all right, the market has gained momentum and is given this move back to the upside. Breakup structure is important if you are looking at entry on a proper position. By the way, guys, if you can stay connected by joining the Telegram here, where I do share many of my ideas as well as the trade setup, you might be able to find many of the educational content there as well. scanning for a pullback again, and with this pullback, with a liquidity sweep here, that you can see the market has shown an initial bounce back to the upside, and that potentially could take that market further to the upside here in that area. Now, as we can see, the market has shown initial bounce. We will be looking at now the new fresh perspective in the market. Are you going to see a deeper pullback, or you could see that continuation? What's your bias as well on this topic here? What do you think where the market is going to be heading? Do you think market is going to create a new higher high? Okay, here is the market. If you look at, it's an initial move that you can see. With this support, the price is slowly building its momentum back here, and break of this low, retest of this previous resistance as support, trying to push that back again upside. Okay, see here, after this break of this, the market slowly pushing that back above, and we will be looking for further entry opportunity as soon as we can find suitable price action information. In the meantime, we are just reviewing. So there is a shutdown, right? So you say that US government data may be impacted by the shutdown or tentative event are subjected to delay, revision or cancellation. Okay. Has been shut down again. Shut down. Okay, so there is a cut coming. So that how does that we could see that there is a potential for DXY and gold. So we to see that what's kind of market structure, and you can see DXY started to move or react. I think that's the reaction to the news that you can see. If you look at the daily market structure, first of all, weekly, that you can see that there is a weekly. If you look at here, this is the weekly resistance, right? And this is the technical analysis that we are doing on DXY that can give us significant entry. If you look at, this is the trend line, and with that trend line, if you look at this doji here, and that doji might, if you look at here, the previous weekly doji, with that doji the market may eventually break that high here. So with this break to the upside on DXY, look at the monthly, weekly and the daily, and the daily market starting off this here, that the market has crossed that high and could, I think that the price to from the technical, because it left significant imbalance in this direction, the chances for DXY to have a downside bias here after multiple pullback. Now if you look at the 1 hour pricing, if you guys look at that, the trend was bullish toward this whole move, and what you can see that it failed to create a higher high, right? And it's creating a kind of double top, and it might break that structure. There is a possibility. Now if you look at that here, it might form this head and shoulder. It is possible the market to be something like that, which is a possibility if DXY. And that, if we look at on gold, it's gonna opposite. If DXY drop that down, gonna be opposite. Now let's understand that some fundamental that will definitely help you to understand how the market moves and what could be happen. So if you look at the RBA, also there is a rate hike, while here there is a potential for rate cut, right? So if you look at how does that, like, in fact, as a trader we can interpret this data that many, like, in fact, influence the future price movement. First of all, guys, if you look at let's assume that there is a 100 bias point has been cut. And what will happen, the market will correct itself to adjust to the new rate. Okay, the market in fact trade in that way. So the market creates a new trend, new trajectory to adjust to that level. If you look at the US dollar index from the longer term, now look at this one here. Let's look at the monthly picture on US dollar for the longer term. If you look at, see, this is the US dollar index, right? And it's almost nearing to the mean level. Look at here in 85, it's a big move. I think this is a blower high, series of blower high. So the last here in 2022, market reached that peak and then move that down below. Now at the moment, if you look at this, is the monthly price action, and this trend that you can see is potentially a downtrend. Okay, and from the technical, if you look at here, there is a significant for bearish here, because this is a consolidation here, and of that consolidation broken back up and then broken back below. Again, there's similar kind of consolidation that if you look at also the monthly middleman here, which has entirely broken below. The chances for the market to fill that right on DXY and melt that below is higher possibility on that, on dollar index, right? All right, so this is what I was just looking at a little bit of, guys. This is what I would try to explain here in this context. So in the fundamental aspect, that if you look at that DXY, let's say as a trader, if you know that that's gonna be absolutely helpful to you in trading. Let's say there's a 100 bias point to cut in the dollar index. So, and rate cut will certainly have some kind of bearish bias, because rate cut in fact devaluate the currency. Now, how does that overall will impact or influence the dollar index? So from my understanding that, and from my research, what I have seen, that let's say US dollar is a reserve currency, and it's almost 60% reserve currency across the world, right? So if dollar index significantly devaluates its value, so what that mean, if dollar continues to fall, then those who hold those reserve currency, almost 60%, their intrinsic asset value will reduce, right? And that will shift the reserve currency, will shift to some other currency or gold, and that will reduce the status of USD as reserve currency. So this will be a potential effect on the rate cut that I think as a trader. So that means that what we need to look out when we are looking at in the future trading opportunity. And I hope that you guys got that point. Now let's look at for the next trading opportunity here in the market, and looking at where there's a significant breakout here on gold. Now it's pushing that market back above. We see that there is a continuation, and that's why you see that the gold market is start to push back to the upside, because the next choice of USD is gold as a the balancing currency, and also it can shift to increase more other reserve currencies such as yen or other currencies may shift if the dollar devaluate significantly over the course of period of time. Because imagine that you had something, right? You had a land or anything like that. If it reduces value, then what you're gonna do, you're gonna shift it to the other asset so that it remains its strength. Now looking at here on gold, we can see the market is trending and maintaining its uptrend and could continue. So if you look at here, this is where there is a bullish bias, and okay, here I'm looking to see that where, look at the monthly here again, just to see that overall picture where it was in 2024. So the current price level on the XY is at 2022. So getting an entry with the upcoming level. So as the market is maintaining its that uptrend here, that we could see the price to continue to push back here. And for me, what I think is with the upcoming session on gold, as this is a new session on NY, we see that continuation of uptrend here, and with this uptrend continuation, there is a higher chance for the market again to cross this high, and with the 4-hour candle close in just a matter of 1.5 hours, as the market is continuing its move back above here, we could see the price to potentially to break further to the upside here in that area. So from that perspective here, we look at the overall the market trend, that you can see it's maintaining that uptrend, and for us to look for the further entry, we will be looking at here on the lower time frame. You see that whenever breaking below, it's showing another bullish bias. So therefore, looking at a breakout structure again of this current uptrend, as there is a stronger breakout pullback, it's maintaining its uptrend, and we will be looking at entry from break of this any key level along the way in this market. Now, we are second day of trading week. This is NFP week, guys. As you know that we are progressing towards absolutely big week, and we do open quite a few trades more often now today as well. We hope open two positions and one win, one loss, but the winner is bigger than the loss. That's the big one. Now we are looking at tomorrow coming up NCT news, and also ADP non-farm employment change. We will be trading in this live session, right? Don't miss out that session coming tomorrow. We'll see you there again, trading again live. And I hope that you learn here something, you found value. Make sure you join the Telegram here for more updated education as well as analysis that I'm posting every day. That being said, thanks for joining. I'll see you again very soon. Until that, stay well, stay happy.